Hi, I'm Rolph, the Rainwater Guy, and I'm here today at Lawndale Country Park in Lancashire, where we have 76 lodges and 2 houses where all of the wastewater from there is being pumped across site into this new GRAF Advanced wastewater treatment system that you see behind me. So when we have a site like this, obviously there could be 3-4 people in a lodge of this size, and so when you have that many people on site, rather than having just a small wastewater treatment system for each of the lodges, quite often what you'll see is one communal wastewater system that can then receive the waste from all of the lodges on site. Now on this site here, obviously they'll be given a level of quality of water that they're allowed to discharge off the site. And so for this particular site, they're having to achieve 10, 20, 10. So that's 10 for BOD, 20 for suspended solids, and then lower than 10 again for ammonia. So that's a little bit better water quality than the standard discharge consent of 20, 30, 20. And so that's why we've actually got this GRAF Advanced wastewater treatment system to make sure that we achieve that water quality. So this size system is actually made up of 5 different tanks. We have one tank behind the cabinet, which is then linked to 2 tanks going along here. And then from there, we have our charging airlift, which is going to lift the wastewater up out of these tanks here and into 2 more tanks down either side here, which have the 3 turrets. Now, the reason for the 3 turrets is that we've got aeration diffusers in the bottom of the tank, and we have 3 sets of aeration diffusers. So that allows us to be able to see how well the air is being distributed into the tank. And then in the final turrets, we also then have the airlift pipework for the discharge, and then a sludge return where we can see comes out the side of the tank and flows back all the way back to the primary tank there. Okay, so the task for today is for us to install the air hoses into some ducts that have already been installed, and they're basically a connection between where the external cabinet's going to sit and then the tanks. So we've obviously got the start of these ducts, we can see just down on the ground just here, and then we've got our air hoses here. We've got 12 lengths of air hoses that we've got to run, and these disappear underground and then basically come across to the dome on this tank just here. And then basically there's already pipework, airlift pipework that's been installed within the tanks with an air hose already connected. So we're basically just putting a new air pipe in, and then we'll make a connection here. So we're going to leave 1 air hose in this tank just here. We're then going to feed 2 more air hoses through this pipe just here. And then there's 2 connection points here. And we'll do exactly the same on this other side. So again, we'll have 1 air hose just there and 2 just here. And then the other pair of ducts run right the way through. And they come down to these final turrets just here. And then we've basically got a discharge airlift, a sludge return airlift, and another aeration pipe to stay in here. So 3 air hoses to here and 3 air hoses to just there. Okay, so now we've got the cabinet in place. As you can see, we've got all our air hoses coming up through the ducts that we were feeding through earlier. And now you can see this mass of hose connections there for the different valves. which connect to the different airlifts within the tank. So you can see now why we've taken care to kind of label the hoses so we know which one's going where. And then we'll just work through systematically to make connections between the hose and these connection points here, and then secure those with the Jubilee clip. So something that's slightly unique with this installation is that you'll notice that actually the tanks have been installed so that they're partially out of the ground. Normally our inlet and outlet would both be underground, but when you've got a site of this size and the distances that are having to be covered and you have to have fall on the pipe, then quite often there will be some form of pump involved. Now on this site, there's going to be a pump chamber installed, which will actually pump the water to a manhole, which will be connected to the orange pipe that you can see going into the end of the tank just there. So that's the inlet of the tank. From there, we then have various airlifts which move the water through the tanks. And then on the far end of the tank, we've got the outlet pipes. Now, by lifting the tanks up to the level that they're at, it then means that the outlet pipes are high enough for the drainage to be able to fall by gravity all the way down the site so that there's no pumps required on the outlet side.